Hey guys, it's Jordan, and today I'm gonna be reading some Let's Not Meet stories from Reddit because that's my favorite. Oh yeah, I got rubber bands, and let me tell you, anyone who has rubber bands knows that the first couple days hurts like a butt cheek on a stick. Come on. Sorry if you hear little noises. My birds are on top of their cage, and I moved it from right there to legit right there. So this is taking absolutely forever. I'm gonna be reading 2 stories because I don't want to read a long one, so I'm just gonna read 2 medium ones. Okay, you get it. Shut up, please. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I love you. The first story is called Creepy Dude at Walmart. When I was about 8 years old, I went to Walmart with my dad. He needed to shop for groceries, and obviously that was super boring. Me too. I told my dad I wanted to look at Barbies by myself instead, and he said I could if I paid attention to the time and promised to meet him up front in an hour. I walked over to the toy section at the back of the store and spent the next 20 minutes or so trying to decide which Barbie or Bratz doll I was going to beg for. As I was looking at the dolls, I became aware of someone else standing just outside the aisle. It was a tall man, probably in his late 60s. He had a handlebar mustache and was wearing white rimmed glasses, high water jeans, a buttoned up jean shirt, and suspenders. He stood up with his arms at his sides and stared at me. Beginning to feel uncomfortable and Barbie's forgotten, I walked around the other end of the aisle and started heading towards the crafts instead. I figured it was nothing and that he'd just leave me alone if I walked away. However, a few minutes into the serious business of looking at different tubs and beads and string, I felt someone watching me again. I turned my head to look at the end of the aisle. Sure enough, he had followed me and was watching again, standing and staring at me, hands open at his sides. Ew. It's my face immediately got hot and I began to sweat. I knew I needed to find my dad. I walked briskly to the end of the aisle, opposite the man. I started heading towards the front of the store. About halfway to the front of the store, I noticed that the man was following me, staying on the opposite side of each aisle. When I looked back at him, he began to quickly cross the aisle ahead of us to get to my side. I started running as fast as my chubby little legs could carry me. I could hear him jogging behind me. At this point, I knew my dad wouldn't be up at the front of the store for at least another 15 minutes, but I didn't know where else to go. I kept running towards the front of the store, and so did the man. I made it to the front and stood by the bathrooms, right in front of the cash registers. Luckily, it was busy and the man couldn't follow me too closely anymore, without being obvious. I anxiously watched for my dad while the man anxiously paced and watched me until my dad got there. He walked away shortly after. I clung to my dad's jacket sleeve on the way out of the store. It always makes my stomach churn when I think about what could have happened to me if I hadn't gotten away. I've never told either of my parents about it. I never saw the man on the news and no clue who he was. So to the creepy guy at Walmart, if you're still around and kicking, let's not meet. If some dude was like, here, come to my car, I have candy, I'd be like, alright, this is a short one. It's called First Time Hitchhiking. My friends and I, 3 teenage girls, decided to hitchhike into the large city we lived near to attend a party. The first people who picked us up were pretty cool, listened to music, smoked some pot, etc., and dropped us off at the highway to make the last leg of our journey. I got to sit up front. Yahoo, not. This middle-aged man who picked us up asked if we would like to go party with him at the casino in the city. He had a room for the night and was willing to pay us $1,000 each. Immediately alarmed, we told him our friends were expecting us and that we were only 16, not interested. Holy, please change the subject. He then suggested one of us could join him for a couple hours, and he would drop them off to the rest of us after. No thanks, bud, we aren't interested. Then he decides he's going to drop us off at a local coffee shop, go home, and switch vehicles and pick us back up, and take us to our destination. We were thinking, that sounds lovely. We waited for him to pull away and caught a bus to the party. So creepy guy who knew we were underage, I realize now in hindsight how stupid we were to hitchhike. But please, let's never meet again. Dude. I don't think I'd ever hitchhike, Alright guys, that was it. There will be a link to both of the stories in the description below, as well as my Instagram. I hope you enjoyed this video and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!